Welcome to Journaling with Nature, the podcast for those who want to turn curiosity into wonder, a pencil sketch into a rabbit hole of discovery, a moment of stillness into a life full of joy. I'm your host, Bethan Burton. Let's open the pages of our nature journals and explore this world together. Hello, this is episode 172. It's good to be back with you again. I feel like the whole world has turned upside down since the last podcast. It's been a few weeks. A lot has happened in that time. A few weeks ago, I was actually sitting here at my computer desk with my podcasting software open, and I was moments away from welcoming a guest to record a conversation. And I got a call from a friend, and I wasn't going to answer because I was just about to record, and I just got a sense that I should answer the phone. And when I did, my friend told me that my son had broken his arm and I needed to come to school straight away. So I flew out the door, and then we went off in an ambulance to the emergency room and surgery and 3 days in hospital, then a week of intense complications, and I cancelled everything in my calendar. And of course, abandoned my Inktober in the Garden challenge. I had 3 prompts to go and I haven't gone back to it yet, but I will. So that's what I've been busy with these past couple of weeks. And I appreciate your patience with me with the podcast. And in the background to all of this, there's been the recent news and the big events happening close to home and across the world. And it's a lot. Enough to create a deep sense of worry about the state of the world and about the future. And I spent some time, as I know a lot of people have done recently, feeling very low and very helpless about things. And then I started to wonder, what now? What small actions can I take to move things in a positive direction when things are feeling so broken? I've been thinking about community and ways that we can care for each other and for nature. And when I was young, really young, I used to write letters to governments and to businesses and ask what they were doing to protect the environment. And I was a little activist and I was trying to make a difference, and I felt that I could. And then I got older, and as life kind of got more complicated and I felt more and more powerless, I kind of lost that drive. I guess the more you learn about the world, it can start to feel like your small efforts won't make any difference. And so I just stopped writing those letters and doing those things. But the reality is that our governments aren't going to care for nature the way we urgently need them to. So it means that us at the grassroots need to step up and take action to make positive changes. And I asked my Instagram community about this, about ways that we can use nature journaling to create positive change. And one person answered this question and mentioned the act of nature journaling hope. And unfortunately, I can't find this account anymore. And this person, if it was you, please reach out to me again. I'd love to talk to you about this idea and explore it together. I think it's such an important thing. Hope is so important because if we don't have hope, then there's no reason to continue. And we need to continue to try and create safe communities and continue to try and protect the more than human world. A big part of why I plant seeds in my garden is that it's looking to the future with hope. You put a seed in the ground and you hope that it will grow, and then when it pops up, you nurture it and take care of it in the best way that you can, and you love it and watch it change, and it's always about a hopeful future. You hope it's going to continue to grow. For today's prompt, I would love for us to focus on hope. What brings you hope? How could you use your nature journal to celebrate and dwell in this feeling of hope? Can you sow the seeds of hope on the pages of your nature journal? And how might you do that? What would it look like? And then how could you share this seed of hope with someone else who might need it right now? I would love to hear from you about what little seeds of hope you feel we can focus on during this time in history, what we can do alone with our nature journals, and what we can do together as a creative community. You know that weird phenomenon where when you focus on something, you start to see it everywhere around you? I really think that hope is the same. Let's start looking for hope and share it with each other whenever we find it. This is going to sustain the energy that we need to make change in this world. I'd love to start sharing different books and resources that envision hope. I'm going to share a few resources that come to my mind for me, and I would love to hear any that you know about too. Jane Goodall comes to my mind first. She's written books about hope and has a podcast called Hopecast. And she talks with change makers about looking to the future and making positive action in our world. Another author, Douglas Tallamy, has written a book called Nature's Best Hope, a new approach to conservation that starts in your yard. And this book's about planting native habitats in our gardens to create wildlife corridors and build patches of new habitat. This subject is close to my heart because I'm really passionate about gardens, and I really do believe that gardens are about hope. Another author who I just started to become aware of recently is Ross Gay, and he's written poetry and essays about gratitude and joy and delight. And at the moment, I'm actually reading one of his books, and it's called The Book of Delights. It's a series of daily essays of simple and delightful things that the author has experienced. So those are a few that just come to my mind right away. I would love to start sharing ideas with you and connect podcast listeners and nature journalists in sharing stories that bring hope. I'll put some of the links in the show notes to the things that I've just mentioned here, but please do leave a comment below this podcast on the Journaling with Nature website about nature journaling hope, how you might do that, what it looks like for you, and any resources or places to find hope that you know about, so that other listeners can connect with these too. Let's help to grow hope within this community and support each other in this way. Thanks so much for listening. See you next week.